Hello, this is Keith, welcoming you to the 2007th edition of the Enfield Talking newspaper, Dateline the 2nd of July 2015. The readers this week are Janet, Colin and Keith, with Robin on the controls. The items that we will be reading come from our local newspapers, the Enfield Gazette and Advertiser and the Enfield Independent, under their copyright. Our title music is Country Rock Polka, composed by Pat Prilly, Ferdinand Bouillon, Harry Breur, and is performed by Jean-Jacques Perry, and is used with his kind permission. Local stories include Give Us Back Our Lollipop Warden and Fears Over Waste Site. Just one special news item this week regarding the Macular Disease Society. Enfield Macular Disease Support Group meets on the second Wednesday of every month from 10 a.m. to 12 noon at the Trinity Church Hall, Gentleman's Row, Enfield EN2 6AN. The meetings are open to anyone affected by central vision loss. Carers are welcome too. For further details, please contact Alan Newson on 020 8886 5659. That's Alan Newson on 020 886 5659. If you are experiencing any problems receiving your Enfield Talking newspaper, please phone Diane de Jersey on 020 8805 6578. She is your listener's representative and she will be pleased to help you. That's Diane de Jersey on 020 8805 6578. Now Janet will read the first item of local news.
A 9-year-old boy has written a heartfelt letter to Enfield Council demanding that a lollipop warden be reinstated before someone gets killed. In his handwritten letter, Chayside Primary School pupil Alfie Peverell said crossing Chayside Enfield was unsafe without the warden there to help stop traffic. A lollipop warden has been stationed there until last year, but was not replaced when he retired just before Christmas. Alfie challenged councillors to come down to the spot close to the road's junction with Chayside Avenue to see how difficult it was to cross. In my opinion, it's really unsafe without a traffic guard because it puts children like me and my friends at risks of being injured or even killed, Alfie wrote. Many children walk to school by themselves without an adult. Please may we get a new lollipop man or lady. Alfie handed his letter to staff at Enfield Civic Centre in Baker Street, accompanied by Mum Claire. The Perrymead resident told the Advertiser, "Since we lost our crossing attendant, there have been a few near misses. I've had to drag Alfie out of the road to stop him being hit. He wrote the letter to the council because it has become a real issue." Alfie was also praised by his head teacher, Sally Corson, who said, "I want to commend Alfie for using his initiative. We have had a lot of assemblies on road safety, but he has taken it one step further. I think it's brilliant that his voice can have an impact." A spokeswoman for the council said, "We are reviewing arrangements at this crossing, particularly in view of the improved crossing facilities recently introduced at the nearby junction of Chayside, Holtzwhite's Hill and Parsonage Lane. Road safety continues to be our priority, but we need to ensure that our resources are directed as efficiently as possible, particularly as council budgets have come under increasing pressure."
Campaigners fear a massive waste plant could still be built on their doorstep, despite earlier plans being shelved. The Pinkham Way Alliance contacted Conservative MP David Burrows to raise concerns about the re-emergence of plans for a waste transfer site on land next to the A406. Plans for a major waste processing plant in Pinkham Way, Bounds Green, were scrapped in 2013 when the North London Waste Authority, NLWA, which represents boroughs including Enfield, Barnet and Haringey, said a less expensive solution could be found. But people living nearby now fear Barnet Council plans to move a waste plant in Hendon to the site, although the authority says it has no current plans to transfer a waste facility to Pinkham Way. Mr Burrows, MP for Enfield Southgate, warned any move to create a waste facility at Pinkham Way would create a huge increase in lorry traffic and would be of great concern. He said, "I am dismayed that just when we thought we had won the battle to stop a massive waste plant being developed in Pinkham Way, Barnet Council and the North London Waste Authority are now planning a 6-acre waste transfer station. The prospect of a huge increase in lorry movements in one of the most polluted and congested roads in London is of great concern. I oppose the plans and call upon Enfield councillors sitting on the NLWA to object. I am also calling on Barnet Council to work with the 3 boroughs affected to come up with an environmentally appropriate alternative." According to Mr Burrows, statistics show that waste transfer facilities pose a fire risk, with fires every 3 days on average between 2011 and 2013. He is also concerned about lorry traffic given Pinkham Way's proximity to the North Circular Road and East Coast Main Line. The scrapping of plans for the earlier waste processing plant in 2013 were expected to save the taxpayer up to £900 million over the next 30 years. When contacted by the Enfield Independent, the NLWA confirmed it was in talks with Enfield Council about the relocation of a facility in Hendon, but insisted Pinkham Way was not included in those discussions and will not be as long as planning for a facility in Edmonton goes through. A spokesman said, "As a result of major redevelopment work in the Brent Cross and Cricklewood area, NLWA is currently in discussion with Barnet Council about plans to relocate the rail transfer station at Hendon. These discussions do not include Pinkham Way. Assuming that NLWA can secure planning permission for its proposed residual waste management facilities at Edmonton, the authority now has no current plans to develop the Pinkham Way site. Nor has the authority taken any action to develop the site since withdrawing our original plans. However, the site will remain an asset for NLWA due to its strategic location and planning designation as a potential employment site. Barnet Council had not responded to a request for comment when the Independent went to press.
A reshuffle of Enfield libraries that will see the closure of mobile libraries but the creation of flagship libraries has been approved. The debate was cut short because earlier discussions overran when Enfield Council discussed the streamlined and upgraded library services, but a vote was held nonetheless. The Council plans to keep all 17 libraries open, but will turn 11 into community libraries that will share premises with other services. The 4 biggest libraries, Enfield Town, Edmonton Green, Palmer's Green and Ordnance Road Community Hub, will be redeveloped to become flagship libraries, extending their opening hours to 7 days a week. Mobile libraries, which had more than 5,000 visits during 2014, with 83 active adult users at a cost of £70,000 a year, are to go. Councillor Aoife Orhan, Cabinet Member for Education, Children's Services and Protection, said, "We are one of the few councils in London to have kept all its libraries open in these tough economic times. This development strategy proposes an exciting future role for libraries, which underlines their importance, the opportunities they create, and ensures they remain a valued part of local life." But speaking before the proposals were agreed, Opposition Conservative councillor Lee David Saunders said, "This does not feel like a costed plan and more like a politically motivated tactic to blame the Conservative government in a year's time when they will have to make deeper cuts to the service because they cannot meet their savings target." Now, we are not sure if this will affect our mobile library. We're trying to find out what the position is and we'll let you know as soon as we can. In the meantime, it might be a good idea if you contact your local counsellor if you use this service and let him or her know how you will be affected.
Stroke patients at Chase Farm Hospital have been growing and selling vegetables in a group designed to harness the benefits of horticultural therapy. Lettuce, tomatoes and radishes are among the vegetables produced by the Therapy Gardening Group, which meet every week. The project is funded by donations from staff, patients and relatives, as well as money raised from selling the vegetables. Those behind the scheme say horticultural therapy helps build strength and stamina, relaxes muscles, improves balance and movement, burns calories and promotes a sense of well-being. This can be vital during long hospital stays and ongoing therapy, they say. Michael Vieira, occupational therapy team lead at Chase Farm in the Ridgeway, Enfield, said, as well as helping stroke patients recover, the gardening group has been educational. Learning about different vegetables and their nutritional value has helped some patients adopt a healthier diet, which can reduce the risk of strokes in the future.
For a generation, the idea of cash coming out of a hole in the wall seemed insane, but that changed 48 years ago in Enfield. On June the 27th, 1967, on the buses star Reg Varney made the first ever withdrawal from a cash machine, inserting a voucher, entering a 4-digit PIN and coming away £10 better off. The weekend saw the 48th anniversary of this technological advance that has become an indispensable aspect of modern life. The idea for the cash machine came from John Shepherd Barron of Delarue Instruments, who was frustrated to arrive a minute after his branch had closed one Saturday. He originally envisaged a 6-digit security code, but after his wife said that she could not possibly remember more than 4 numbers, the personal identification number, PIN, was born. Barclays Bank in Enfield Town Centre has a plaque on the wall commemorating the momentous occasion. Today, more than 80% of cash withdrawn from banks is obtained through cash machines. Of the 63,000 cash machines in the UK, more than 42,000 are situated away from bank branches, and the ATM has come a long way since Reg Varney made his first withdrawal.
Politicians have joined forces in a bid to crack down on fly tipping in the borough. At a meeting of the council, Tory councillors demanded that the Labour administration made it easier for residents to get rid of their bulky waste to remove the temptation to fly tip. They also want the council to allow members of the public to use social media to report instances of fly tipping. They called on the administration to review the fee charged by the council to collect bulky waste, which currently stands at £56 for 6 items. Joanne Laban, the Conservative Group spokeswoman on the environment, told the meeting at the Civic Centre in Baker Street, Enfield, that cleaning up unsightly dumped furniture and white goods was about making Enfield the best it can be. Enfield has a problem with fly tipping, she said. I've seen children playing in the dumped rubbish. How is that not a health and safety issue? We as councillors don't want to live in these areas where rubbish is continually being dumped, so why should our residents? She pinned the blame for fly tipping on the expense and hassle of disposing legitimately of bulky waste. If you rip out your kitchen and it's more than 6 large sacks, don't expect to get rid of it at Barrowell Green, the council depot, in Winchmore Hill, she added. Then, if you pay someone to get rid of it, you've no idea where they're taking it, if they've disposed of it officially or if they've taken it away and dumped it. However, the Cabinet Chief for Environment, Daniel Anderson, denied that the Labour administration had overseen an increase in the amount of waste dumped in the borough's streets. He said, the government stopped the public funding to keep Britain tidy, but we spend £3.4 million a year in keeping Enfield clean. 84% of fly tipping incidents are cleaned up before they're reported, and we've invested £1 million in modernising street cleansing services. Responding to the accusation that the system makes it too difficult to report fly tipping, Mr Anderson revealed that the council was looking into a geo-tagging system whereby people could use smartphones to let officials know where the rubbish was. Although the recommendations put forward by the Tories were voted down, councillors agreed unanimously on a motion tabled by Mr Anderson to write a letter jointly from the Cabinet Member for Environment and his Conservative counterpart to Elizabeth Truss, Secretary of State for the Environment, calling on the Government to heed the conclusions of the Select Committee report by creating a national litter strategy for England with a clear framework for action, underpinned with a coordinating role for local councils.
Developers claim a silent majority of residents supported the 18th century pub building becoming a supermarket. Green Lane's Investments conducted a survey of 1,500 homes and businesses and say that 77% of firms and 73% of residents supported the plans to open a Waitrose at the former Green Dragon pub in Winchmore Hill. A petition calling for the building in Green Lanes on the corner with Vickersmoor Lane to be preserved as a pub has been signed by more than 4,500 people. A bid by residents to list the building as an asset of community value was rejected by Enfield Council in April. GLI bought the Green Dragon shortly after it was closed in January. The company has now released images showing how the building could be converted into a supermarket and extended to provide 9 new homes. The developer argues such a scheme will greatly benefit the local community by providing more jobs, more choice and bring new investment. Pub regular Mick McLean is leading the campaign to preserve the watering hole and said he is still hopeful a second bid for ACV status will be successful. St Paul's Cathedral would make a lot of money as a casino, Mr McLean told the Advertiser, but you need to look beyond that to see what it provides for the community. The council wants us to state how the Green Dragon would benefit people who don't use it as a pub, so we are making that case to them now. There is no need for a Waitrose. There is one just 1.5 miles away. In June, the Fox in Palmer's Green became the first pub in the borough to win ACB status, and Mr McLean thinks that this will help the Green Dragon's case. It shows the council can look positively at these applications, he added. The Green Dragon is currently being used as a discount shop, meaning no change of use permission would be needed by GLI to reopen it as a supermarket. However, council approval will be needed to build new homes on the site. A GLI spokesman said, "When we bought the vacant site, we knew there would be support for a little Waitrose, but the survey was even more emphatic than we hoped. A silent majority of residents clearly want a good shop and new family homes. What is more, local firms appreciate that they will benefit from extra footfall and increased trade."
A rugby clubhouse has been transformed in time for the Sports World Cup thanks to the help of volunteers. Old Grammarians Rugby Club, based in Green Dragon Lane, Winchmore Hill, had a clean-up over the weekend as part of the NatWest Rugby Force scheme. The programme aims to unite clubs across the country in time for the World Cup in September. Graham Kantorowicz, 60, of Hollyfield Avenue, Friam Barnet, helped organise the project for Old Grammarians. A coach and referee at the club, Mr Kantorowicz, said, "It looks absolutely fantastic now. The hall got painted and we had a major clear out around the grounds. Lots of little jobs that needed doing. We are very pleased with how it has gone." People who have not got involved in the past with the club came too, so we now have a longer list of new additions who can help do certain things. It's always gratifying when you're running an organisation as a volunteer to find people who can help. Mr Kantorowicz said the club planned to do it each year and added, "The place looks transformed, and I think it is important that every year when people come back at the start of the season, they see a change in the club. It is like your own house. Things build up. We have got the World Cup coming up, and it will make the place more attractive to watch the greatest sides in the world. People will come and sit in an environment which looks good." The club was formed by former pupils of Tottenham Grammar School, which closed in 1988. Speaking about the World Cup, Mr. Kantorowicz said, "I think we have got a very good chance. But the truth is, there are probably 4 or 5 sides who could win it."
It may have gone unnoticed by all but the most observant of passers-by, but the little bronze statuette of a water cherub outside Enfield Civic Centre has been taken to wearing a T-shirt. The charming figurine became a tiny mannequin as it modelled the new kit to be worn by Enfield's team in the 2015 London Youth Games. The figurine, cast by the company Morris Singer between 1927 and 1949, was found by council staff in the grounds of Oasis Academy Hadley in Bell Lane, Enfield Highway in 2013, and has since been relocated to the water feature outside the Civic Centre in Baker Street, Enfield. Also modelling the new strip for a special photo shoot were Andrew Stafford, Enfield Council's Cabinet Member for Finance and Efficiency, James Rolfe, Director of Finance, Resources and Customer Services, and Necker Keysor, Cabinet Member for Public Health and Sport. Mr. Stafford said, "Enfield Council wholeheartedly endorse fit and healthy lifestyles for all our residents, especially young people. Our little statue, emblazoned with the LYG kit, will be a talking point locally and will raise the profile of this important organisation." Ms. Keysor said, "Enfield Council is delighted to support the London Youth Games by showcasing their kit. We are tackling levels of childhood obesity by increasing levels of activity in our young people and by encouraging children and young people to get involved in a wide range of sports. By supporting the London Youth Games, we hope more young people will want to become active."
Chase Farm Hospital will move a number of services around to make room for construction work. A total of 10 services will move to new locations within Chase Farm Hospital as part of planned redevelopment. This will allow construction work to begin on the site in early 2016. The Older Persons Assessment Unit, Sleep and Lung Functions Clinic, Blood Clinic, Rheumatology, outpatients will all be relocated in July. The Urgent Care Centre, Paediatric Assessment Unit, Paediatric Outpatients, GP Out-of-Hours Service, Antenatal Clinic and Gynecology and Colostopy Clinic will all then move in August. The services will remain in place until their planned move into the new hospital building in 2018. David Solomon, Chief Executive of the Royal Free London, said, "Moving the services this summer means that once construction of the new building starts early next year, it will have a minimal impact on patient care. The final dates for the moves will be shared as soon as we have them. We are working hard to ensure that disruption is kept to a minimum for patients, visitors and staff. Services will run as normal following the relocations. The Urgent Care Centre will be moved overnight and the opening hours will be unaffected."
Tributes have been paid to a former Conservative councillor who has died after a long battle with cancer. Annette Dreblow, who had been a councillor in Chasewald from 2004 to 2010, died on Sunday, June the 21st. Mrs. Dreblow stood down in 2010 but continued to be a part of the community, chairing community action partnerships in Enfield in the Chase area, as well as being a long-standing member of the Cruise Hill Residents Association and a magistrate. She was a ladies' captain at Cruise Hill Golf Club. Councillor Terry Neville leader of the Conservative group, said, "I am sure residents and Enfield Council send their condolences to her husband Peter and her children and grandchildren. I know she will be missed by her family, friends and colleagues."
Sliding doors that wouldn't slide as well as they should have done. This was the reason for weeks of delays and cancellations on trains to and from Enfield Town Railway Station following Transport for London's takeover of the line, according to the man in charge. In an interview with the Advertiser, Jonathan Fox, TfL's Director of London Rail, apologised to passengers for the disruption and admitted he did not possess a magic wand to make it all better straight away. Mr Fox was discussing the problems encountered since the line, formerly run by Abellio Greater Anglia, was transferred to TfL and integrated into the London Overground network. "The main issue is with the reliability of the rolling stock," he said. "The trains are 30 years old." When the move to TfL was made on May the 31st, 6 trains left idle for 2 years were brought back into service to help increase frequency on Sundays and to provide additional carriages in reserve. "We needed greater flexibility," he said. "We took on these extra 6 trains on the basis they would be overhauled before we took them over. These trains had been at the Eastleigh depot in Hampshire for a couple of years. They were put through an examination regime and we did some work to make sure they were fit for purpose. We started 2 months in advance and had them running overnight. We thought sufficient work had been done on the doors. What we probably ought to have done was have the doors on a regular cycle. Because they are sliding doors, they have to fit into the slot and align. We have to put up our hands and say it hasn't been okay." After several weeks of issues that often forced TfL to reduce the length of trains from 8 to 4 carriages, reliability improved again from the middle of June. Services along the line from Liverpool Street to Enfield Town, Cheshunt and Chingford have all been affected. But Mr Fox says the worst should be over and gradual improvements will now be noticeable. "We've put together a rectification plan," he said. "We haven't stood still. We have had extra people riding trains to make sure they're okay, and we have door adjustment work going on at the weekends. Recently, we have had a 100% good service, but we are genuinely sorry the first few weeks didn't go as planned. It was worse than we envisaged. We have had to swing into action. Looking ahead, there will be new walk-through air-conditioned trains introduced on the line from 2018, similar to those already in use on other parts of the London Overground network." We've now reached the end of side 1 of this tape. Please stop your machine now, take out the cassette, turn it over and start side 2.